Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, directly from Moscow, Russia, also known as USSR 2.0, and today we're gonna cook buckwheat. Buckwheat is the most famous Soviet food. I eat it for breakfast. I'm gonna show you how I make it. Let's go. So the process for making buckwheat is very complicated and only for experienced cooks. Basically what you do is you turn the heat to about whatever it's like 2.5 on my electric stove. You boil the water, you throw the buckwheat into the water, and once it's done boiling, it's ready to eat. Do not try this if you're an inexperienced buckwheat chef. While the buckwheat is cooking, we're gonna make bread with kielbasa. While I lived in America, I suffered the horror of American bread. Let me show you real Russian bread. Right here. Look at this thing. It's solid, like a brick. This is the way it should be. And this whole thing costs 50 cents. This bread is exactly like back in the Soviet times. It's called bukhanka, and there is a Soviet car by the same name that kind of looks like this, and that's why the car was called. But anyway, this thing is great, and this is the bread sliced. I love this thing. It's so good. Alright, so I have buttered my bread, and this is the sausage I'm gonna use. Look at this thing. It's beautiful. It's also solid. Look at this. I mean, alright, the sandwiches are done. Look at this beauty. Yummy. So the water is almost boiling, and once it's done boiling, we're gonna put the buckwheat into the water, maybe another minute. So let me go over the cost of everything here. The buckwheat was 90 rubles for 900 grams, so about like $1.20 per kilogram. The bread was about 50 cents for everything, and the kielbasa was about 100 rubles for this whole thing. So pretty damn cheap still, you know, not that expensive. Alright, I think it's hot enough. Let's pour the buckwheat in. There we go. I don't have that much of it. I need to go to the store and buy more. It's very important to stir it. So this is gonna cook for maybe like 10 minutes because I don't want to undercook it, you know. The one thing I don't like is undercooked buckwheat, because it needs to cook to the point where it's very soft, and then it's gonna be really good. So once this is done, we're pretty much gonna eat it finally, because I'm hungry. Alright, so the buckwheat is boiling, but it's still not finished because it needs to cook more. It needs to be super soft. So it's been about maybe 5 minutes, but it needs to go more. I so wanna eat one of these sandwiches, but I'm keeping myself from it because it needs to be eaten with the buckwheat, not separately, because that's the way it is. So I have to wait. Alright, so finally the buckwheat is done, and this is what it looks like. So we're gonna put this in the plate, in the bowl, and we're gonna add milk to it. Alright, it's in the plate. Here comes the milk. Perfect. And then some more. Look at this thing. Yum. This thing is so much healthier for you than any American cereal. I used to eat American cereals, you know, with milk. You know, the ones with like all of the chemical table in it and some kind of weird vitamins and all that. Screw all that. It's all about the buckwheat. The buckwheat, it's natural, it rules. Strong. And just to top it off, we throw a little bit of butter in it, just so it sinks and dissolves in there. Perfect. And the last thing, it needs a little bit of sugar, like not much, you know, just a little bit. We don't want to over sugar this thing, but like a teaspoon is good. Alright, and then you a little bit mix this. And it's finished. Ta-da! Sandwiches with kielbasa or kolbasa in Russian. Buckwheat with milk and a little bit of butter. Yummy. This is a healthy Soviet breakfast for you, Soviet style. None of that American chemical BS. And that's why I feel good, you know. That's why I look better. And this is the way to be healthy, is to eat this kind of food. Buckwheat is the greatest thing for breakfast ever. And we're finally ready to eat. Bon appetit. Perfect. This is a perfect.